Kip here with Rocky Mountain Bikes, technical representative. And this bike here I'm showing you is the Altitude Powerplay. So the Altitude Powerplay is our version of the e-bikes. It is equipped with our Dyname motor. And the cool thing about our e-bikes and our motor is we are the only mountain bike brand that makes the motor and everything in-house. So when it comes to designing an e-bike, we have no design limitations. We can make the motor and the bike work together in unison. So the bike, our e-bikes actually have the exact same geometry as our analog bikes. Only bike brand that can say that. And the cool thing of that too is like the Altitude is our 160, 170 Enduro e-bike equivalent to our analog model. So it just has our motor on it. So with the Dyname motor, it is a torque-driven motor. So what that means is it reads any input that the rider is putting on the pedals. That translates to torque and tension on the chain. It reads it as rider input, and it gives that effective output. So it offers a very intuitive ride design, and it also delivers immediate output with the direct chain drive from the power cog to the cassette. It is class leading in the amount of torque that it dumps out, which is 108 Newton meters of power. It comes equipped with a 720 watt hour battery that is easily removable. And there's some other cool things involved with it where it has a traditional crankset and bottom bracket. There's no app associated with it. There's a new integrated display with the Jumbotron that is the main screen for all rider info. So you have 5 different screens for on-trail information. And then you have a very easy menu to help do custom tunes for a rider if you want to adjust the power settings. There's also a way to calibrate for the bike if you ever need to reset anything. And then there's also a dealer interface menu that we integrated. So when it comes to diagnosing or adjusting the bike, everything's going to be integrated with the Jumbotron and the remote here. So another unique thing that's, again, with Rocky Mountain is some personalization. There's a lot of integration or adjustability integrated into the frame. So we have the Ride 4 chip where you have about a degree of adjustability in the head tube and seat tube angle. And then you're going to also have a adjustable wheelbase chip offering 10 millimeters of wheelbase if you want to lengthen out that wheelbase. Unique to the carbon models is the front upper shock link is modular. So in the case of the Altitude, you can get a different shock link if you want to turn it into a mullet bike without affecting the geometry. And then you also have the ability to make this into a shorter travel bike and kind of turn it into an Instinct. So you can adjust this 160 millimeters of rear travel to 140 millimeters of rear travel. So kind of goes with Rocky. We want to have a very versatile bike to meet the rider. So you have not only adjustability in the frame and the ability to tune the power settings to how you like it, but you also can adjust the overall ride feel to cater to the rider and depending on how they want to ride or how they like to ride. So in the case of the Dyname motor, it offers immediate engagement power when you're on the pedals and immediate disengagement on the power. So there's no unnatural power torque or power curve or torque when you're on the pedals. It's not going to throw your balance off. And also the way it generates its power is a lot more intuitive as well. So it's going to do a very natural power curve where you're not just going to burst the power. When you're doing light pedals on the pedal stroke, it's going to give you light output. It's not until you're really putting power on the pedals that the motor is going to read that and give you that effective output. And that's where you can peak out 108 Newton meters of power. And that's where when you're on trail, that's when you'll be able to find it with our Powerplay models. You're going to be able to go up anything just because it's going to track a lot better. It's going to give you a more natural power curve. And also because it has a traditional geometry. It doesn't feel like a big tank of a bike. It has a traditional a more regular wheelbase compared to similar to our analog bikes. With the motor and everything located centrally, it's going to offer a really nice center of gravity, give it a really nice balanced feel. And then the last unique thing that I'll touch on is just unique to the Powerplays is the mid-high pivot design. So this lower bottom bracket pivot is located a little bit higher. One, that was to make room for the motor, but we found that the mid pivot provides a lot of ample support from the pedaling forces from the drive pivot. So it's not going to squat down. It's going to offer better support in pedaling instances. And the advantages of those mid-high pivots is it gives the rear wheel axle path a lot more of a rearward axle path. So it's not going to get hung up on square edge hits. It's going to track really well. And then when it comes in an e-bike that can deliver so much power and has a little bit extra weight to it, it's going to just offer the ability to track better up terrain and also when it comes going down terrain. So yeah, Altitude Powerplay. This is our Enduro e-bike, full power. Give it the beans and have fun on the way down.